Guys, I got a question for you.
Ooh, I like it. Love a question.
Is there an etiquette for red-eye flights as a passenger?
Yes.
Only in Vegas.
Shoes stay on. Universal.
But that's on any flight. Shoes should stay on.
Just go to sleep.
Okay, that's what I thought. Except for the guys sitting in front of me who had the loudest goddamn conversation for the entirety of the flight. I'm talking about cackling laughter. And by the way, they didn't know each other. Because I saw when they boarded and they were like, hey, how's it going? Oh, you flying to Miami? And then I'm like, okay, that's like the usual chatter you do when you sit down. And then after we take off, that's it, right? Nope.
You think red-eye flights should be quieter? There should be a rule, an unspoken rule.
Yeah. Shut up. Shut the fork up.
That's decorum. That like they flick the lights off. They don't they don't even have like beverage services, right?
No.
Like there's nothing. It is a dead
You gotta whisper.
space.
Can I get a glass of water?
Yeah, treat it like the library.
Yeah, man. And then midway through, or not midway through, I think when we were landing, the guy who's part of this loud ass conversation recognizes someone else on the other. Hey, Will, and he waves. I'm like,
With a Y?
Not Willie.
Oh.
He's a grown man. No, he was like, Will, and he was waving his goofy hand, and I'm like, God, just wait till you get off the plane. What are you gonna do? Hug? What are you do? What were you doing in Vegas? Whatever. Shut up. Be quiet.
What was Will doing in Vegas?
I don't know. I was just so angry and upset and parched.
You just seethed instead of sleeping the entire flight in here?
I tried to sleep, but like I would like get woken up by like laughter and like exclamation. And then I told him to not. I'm like, oh my God, shut up.
Why didn't you say anything?
Because I was half asleep.
Well, you
why
wanted to be full
why
asleep.
didn't the half of you that was awake say something?
What if you dreamed it?
I definitely didn't dream it.
I mean, that could lead to a fight, though. I mean, you don't want to get into a fight in the plane. That's a straight up
the word. Like, let me tell you,
felony.
When I put like a top 5 list of places where I don't want to be in any sort of kind of problems or issues, number 1 might be a plane. Number 2 is the airport.
Yeah,
just don't. I'll always take the L because.
Well, that's your ethnicity, right?
You're damn right, it's my ethnicity.
you don't want to be dragged into a room.
No.
But also, like to your point, Dan, like why don't you just say something? I wish I was slightly more confrontational. Like in that instance, I really do. Like if you're just that annoyed, why not just say it? Why not just say, "Look, man, there's a plane full of people that are trying to sleep. Can you be quiet?" And like not be mean about it, but just say something. Not
could
go
get
through
away
the rest
with
of
it.
your life being soft and demure, and
It's
people
not even
like
mean.
you, they think you're nice.
It's a request. Can you please? I'm trying to sleep. I've had a long day. Can you please be a little quieter? It's a request that doesn't need to be confrontational.
Yeah, I feel like any version of me saying anything on that flight would have been confrontational. 1, 2. When I'm sleepy, I really don't. I can't. There's like certain processes that are active and working, and then there's stuff on low energy mode, and everything outward is low energy mode. Talking, interacting with people, don't like it.
Do you guys want to take a guess here? DraftKings put this out yesterday. The most bet on coach in football to win Coach of the Year.
Oh, I thought he'd lose his job.
22% of the bets are coming in on this person. I believe he is plus 1,200, but he is the most bet on, plus 1,200, the most bet on to win Coach of the Year.
I know who it is. It's Dan Campbell.
Yeah, it is.
Wow, the Hard Knocks bump.
If the Lions make the playoffs, automatically.
Have you
Coach of
watched,
the Year.
Dan? It's incredible.
I have not watched any of it.
No?
I can't believe that this guy, though, has talked his way into convincing bettors to bet on him.
He's captured a
Campbell.
nation's heart.
Billy, what did you think about the great pants speech of episode 3?
Okay, so I started episode 3. I haven't finished. I'm behind 2 episodes now. But it was right at the start, right? I was super confused and I was doing something else, and that's why I haven't finished, because I'm like, I need to go back and watch this speech because I don't understand, because he starts out the episode with like a classic, a room's full of people. He's in front of it. He's giving a speech, and it has something to do with how they lost the preseason game before. And then he just pulls out this really dirty pair of pants. And he just shakes it and throws it looks
everywhere.
Like pitching rosiners. I don't know what the hell he had on it.
It looked like LeBron.
And exactly, it looked like LeBron was in the room, and he just shakes it all over the place. And well, we gotta be like those pants. And then you just see smoke everywhere, and it's like, wait, what happened now? I need to pay full attention to this speech because I'm confused.
Were the pants that dirty naturally, or did he have to?
It's impossible for them to have been that dirty naturally,
guys.
So he had to empty a vacuum cleaner bag on the pants, and
it was comically someone folded the pants and then in the fold poured a bunch of just powder in it for him to shake and throw it everywhere for him to make a point about pants.
Spoiler alert, that was my favorite part of the show until episode 4, where Aaron Glenn, who's the defensive coordinator, chews the ever-loving shit out of the whole entire defense because they allowed a subpar offense to march all over them. The subpar offense was the Lions offense. He was berserk. He's like, you gonna let them do that to us? I'm like, oh my God.
His entire staff is former NFL players, and they're all just arguing and competing with each other.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, when you said Aaron Glenn, I was like, the Aaron Glenn?
The Aaron Glenn, the Deuce Staley. Billy, which staff member is the Stugotz strongest in? I want to see if you picked up the same.
Well, he's
vibe.
only watched 2 episodes.
No, but off of
so far.
2 episodes, you can 2 episodes. Absolutely, there's someone.
Billy, why are you so far behind? Because
it's only 4, I think, so far. Yeah.
Yesterday
45,
was
man.
5. Yesterday was
Whittingham is falling behind. Football has gotten here, and Whittingham is now drowning in previews, right? Whittingham, you're falling behind. You're drowning in previews, and Billy's behind on Hard Knocks. Is it because you guys are consuming too many other things?
NFL preview. I mean, buddy, the season starts tomorrow. What are we?
I know.
We gotta catch up. What are we waiting on?
I'm cramming. I said last week I was easing into the season, and now I'm cramming.
Time to dive in right into the deep end, baby.
2-parter with Bill Barnwell and ESPN Daily. Got a bunch of stuff going on. A bunch of written previews. I know Peter King's column is 30 pages long. I'm reading that before the start of the season. I'm fired up and ready to go for this.
Whitty, when you're cramming and you're doing your previews, are you doing audio or are you doing reading?
Both.
What balance?
Probably 60-40 audio, just because I drive a lot, and so I'm kind of always in the car. So I've listened to a ton of previews of this season.
As you mentioned that the football season starts tomorrow, Billy, and as Amazon has a deal that's for 11 years, and one of their preseason games got a number of 1 million. That's just a preseason game. It was opposite another Chiefs game, and again, it's just a preseason game. But they've had to make a deal with DirecTV where they are selling their feed to 300,000 restaurants and bars. As the NFL season starts tomorrow, is it going to feel like it starts tomorrow? Are people going to be able to are enough people going to be able to find?
Tomorrow's game is not on Amazon. The opening game of the season is on over-the-air NBC.
Okay.
So it'll be the following week.
Okay, so
whichever Amazon game.
Do people feel like the NFL? Matthew Berry was on the Tonight Show yesterday. I'll have you know, football is back and better than ever.
Yeah. By the way, the Week 1 slate. There's a great game in every window. Except for Monday Night Football.
What are you talking about? Double revenge game. The only thing that surprised me about Monday Night Football is we're not getting the Monday Night doubleheader that we've got in a couple seasons in a row. I don't know if they did it last year.
I think they pushed it back. I think they pushed it to next week. I think it's
really?
A Week 2 Monday Night
doubleheader. Well, because
doubleheader.
everyone wants to watch the double revenge game.
Right, exactly. But yeah, I mean, Bucks Cowboys on Sunday night is going to be great. The opening game of the season. I love the matchup of Rams and Bills because for whatever reason, the Bills are getting all of the preseason hype. Picks for the Super Bowl. Over-under is 11.5. Everyone's going over. And somehow, at the end of all of that, the Los Angeles Rams, the Super Bowl champion, are home underdogs on the opening day of the season. What are we doing here?
Upset City.
The Rams are underdogs?
Don't champions always come out flat, though? That's what people are betting on. In most sports.
Yeah, but hold on.
Teams are
Championship hangover.
The Rams arguably got better. They added Allen Robinson on the outside. They added Bobby Wagner. Like, this team is almost better than what they were last
Buy
year.
or sell the Bills right now. I'm telling you right now.
I'm with Billy. All this Bills hype. Where did it come from? I guess
They're really good.
God, I am hammering the Bills after all this talk.
I mean, to be
if
fair,
I've learned one
Just
thing,
because of this
No,
conversation
big sell
right
on
now.
the Bills. I'm
Never
telling
gonna
you, if
listen
it's
to
not
Tom.
in the regular season, it's in the postseason. Big sell on the Bills.
They did have a playoff game in which they scored a touchdown on every single possession.
And how did their season
Oh,
end?
that thing.
You know, that old chestnut.
Sell on
Right.
it.
Tyreek Hill beat him in 13 seconds.
Billy,
Yo,
geographically, Upset City, where is that in relation to Tummy Ache City?
that's a really good question. So Upset City would be, I'm assuming, a positive place, right? Or
Is it?
Upset City? Well, I don't know.
It
'Cause
sounds
is
like it can be a sad place too. It's
no, it sounds like
upsets, yeah.
Upset City, right? But like Upset City is also like if you're the one causing the upsetting, then it's a positive place. So is it a positive place or a negative place? Upset City. We need to determine that before we can determine the location.
Upset City would be something
In
that
the
would be like
Midwest,
the
obviously.
capital of Amin's personality because he likes to go places and bother people. Like
Oh,
where
yeah.
people are bothered. Amin would put his house in he would live there. It was
The
his,
mayor.
His headquarters would be in Upset City. Going back to what it is that I was saying, so thank you. NBC is airing the game tomorrow night. But what's going to happen who's going to get iced out?
Old people?
Well, no, but the median age on Amazon was 51. You say old
Really?
people, and the median age on I was surprised
How's
by this
that possible?
A million old people.
Because your parents are paying for Amazon?
Because it's the subscriber that we're counting. Because I was
Yeah.
going to say, like, a bunch of 20-year-olds are watching it. To get to 50, we're going to have a bunch of 75-year-olds watching it. Like, is that happening?
What I think Dan's saying the median age of an Amazon Prime subscriber is 51.
Of
not
someone
a,
who's- no,
not
not
of
of
a
a
Prime
subs-
Video user.
Of a subscriber or of someone who's watching?
No, forgive me.
Of a subscriber.
Please stop speaking for me.
Okay.
What I was saying, I'm right here. I can speak for myself.
What he was saying.
I think what Dan means.
It's the 51 years old is what they were saying was the demo of the million people who watched the preseason game
right.
on Amazon. And what I'm asking you is, as this heads, as you now have to pay for football more overtly, and as sports fans are made slightly more uncomfortable by the feeding frenzy of the streaming services that are going to make it harder for you to find where your games are because they're not on network television. How is that going to change the Thursday night experience? I don't have an answer for you. As I was reading the numbers, I'm like, well, this is going to be interesting because Amazon will get more subscribers from this, but football will get fewer viewers from this on a Thursday night if people have to hunt it down.
But they have an advantage over like a Peacock, right? Because like you could just be on Amazon Prime and then it's like click here to watch football and you're like, oh shit, like there's football on. I can go watch
You get
it.
email
We're like-
notifications. But, I mean, to your point on Peacock, I remember the first time when NBC launched it and they put big Premier League games on there. And it was strange. Like, it was strange. And it was kind of, from my personal experience, like, am I the only one watching this? Like, it doesn't feel as communal when you fire up a streaming service to watch a live event. I don't know what that is. We'll probably get over it in a certain period.
It's just
But,
change.
I mean, Amazon has promised 12.5 million viewers, and they're going to Nielsen rate this. Normally, streaming events are not Nielsen rated, but they're promising 12.5 million viewers to their advertisers, which is a considerably lower number than most standalone primetime games get. So they feel reasonably confident that they'll get a lot of people to go, but it's a big adjustment. And the only way the NFL was going to get that kind of money on this product was to put it behind the streaming paywall because all the networks had their turn with Thursday Night Football. For the most part, they didn't really like it. And so this is where the money was going to come from. But game one of the Thursday Night Football package as we know it will be Chargers-Chiefs. And if we can't get you to the television set for Chargers-Chiefs or the streaming platform, computer, smart TV, whatever, then I'm not sure we can get you because that's like one of the games of the year for me.
It's all a bet, right? It's all a bet in the sense that how much do you love football, right? If it were any other sport, if it were EPL, for instance, there is not enough of an appetite for EPL in this country, for them to go searching through the internet, through apps and all. But for football, which we've demonstrated time and time again, insatiable appetite for this product. If you tell people there's an NFL game playing right now, and they say where, and you say Amazon Prime, they don't already have it, they're going to get it. Because we know that this is the drug that America can't say no to. And that's what they're betting on. $1 million in a preseason game. Watch those numbers go up week by week.
Guys, right now on Get Up, Eli is coming from a pretend house that we're saying is his house, and he's going to possibly smash helmet. Tell me that that's Eli's house.
This
It's
is
impossible
a bold
for that to be
take
Eli's
by
house.
you guys. You're saying that he chose for his background to have a lesser house than he actually has.
I think that there were
so
focus groups.
he's like, my house
Yes.
is way too nice.
Yes,
I
yes,
need a shitty
yes.
background.
Yeah,
He
okay,
went to a
calm down.
warehouse where this desk is.
There were focus groups that said, what does the normal household's living room look like? And then they recreated that for Eli to set up a standing desk in the middle of for some reason to have as his background.
What does his real house look like?
Not that.
This
No, but
is
what- no,
it.
this
That's
is- no,
not his
describe
house.
it to
Come on,
me.
get out of
He
here.
did the Manning cast last year from this background, didn't he?
I believe it's a set. It's a fake set that they have set up to look like
Is it-
a relatable common man's house.
Is it actually in his real house though? Meaning, is
I've
it
got-
a
I've
set?
got it in his
like,
basement.
Like as soon as as soon as we cut, they're moving the backdrop, they're moving the table, and then there's just like a huge arena inside of his.
So this is what I'm thinking is
It's on
possibly
wheels and it
is
slides
possibly
away.
the case. I think
Like
that
a Pee Wee Herman.
it may be a studio that's directly adjacent to the studio that Peyton is doing it at. So
Oh,
like
yeah.
in the breaks, they just like walk out the door and it's like, "Hey Eli, what happened with the audio there?" Like, "Oh, what were you doing?" And then they have
was
like
on
little
AirPods.
meetings, and then they go back and they have it, but it's all in the same like giant Omaha studio
I have
warehouse.
it sound like on a sound stage.
100%.
But like I have it like
Or-
the Warner Brothers lot where like this is Studio 21 and that all the way over there Studio 22 and that's where Peyton is.
Yeah, or I could see Eli having one of those giant like dope barns that people have at their house that you're like, oh my God, like people have these things and then they just have everything in there. It's like 40 feet high. You could fit 80 trucks in there if you needed to. Like, you know what I'm talking about?
Well, why don't you explain to the audience what it is?
Football's
because,
back.
Yeah, but we're not on video right now. So why don't you explain to the audience where it is that Eli was coming from that you found so
It's a great
awkward
question.
because he was standing in front of a desk. There were 4 pictures behind him.
It was quite
2
quaint.
lamps.
It was a very quaint setup, I would say. It was something that wasn't what you would think Eli Manning would have. It was
Why?
a smaller,
Why?
well, because it was a
It's a
smaller
very
room.
It was a very basic wood on the table.
Yeah,
there was a
2
couple of
identical
chairs
lamps.
that looked like a television set,
Frames
and as
from
you mentioned,
Michaels.
Dan, like 4 picture frames in the background. That was a cascading wall back there.
Yeah.
that was not a small wall that was behind him.
Mm.
I would imagine the Manning family has more decorated walls than that.
If they don't have 18-foot ceilings, it's not a real Manning
Yeah,
house, I
come
would
on.
assume.
For
Well,
sure.
And so your allegation is that that's being rolled in as a set through the palace or castle, wherever it is that Eli lives.
Or Dope Barn.
Or Dope Barn.
And it is just made to make Eli Manning look more like the middle.
We've just done 5. It's so clearly his basement, and we've done 5 minutes on this like elaborate. I need
No.
a shittier bat. Like it's just clearly
Not
his
shitty,
basement.
not shittier. Guys,
Guy, it's Eli
Not-
Manning. You guys have Eli Manning being this like he's not Mike Ryan over here.
he has a death row chain, okay? Like,
What's that supposed to mean?
Vain.
Oh,
You think that Eli Manning
just
is,
said, let's make me more relatable. That's all. That's all.
Is there any particular reason that every Wednesday goes by and I can't get you to pay attention when Russo's on there, but Eli Manning pops up and you interrupt the show to do 5 minutes on whether his living room is real or
It's
not?
football, Dan. It's football.
It is back.
It is back. Dan, you started
Jack.
this saying you didn't know that it was back, or if it's not back, it doesn't
I
feel like it's
know,
back.
I
It's back, my friend. Is it not? Amin feels it. Amin feels it, and he doesn't even like football.
I will
Sure
say,
do.
I mean, to get back to the conversation we were talking about, you're saying, oh, people will find Amazon Prime. Amazon Prime is $139 a year or $15 a month.
Not if you get that
Is
student
it?
rate.
Yeah, it is. That's what Amazon Prime
Man,
does.
I locked in early.
Yeah, I think I got Amazon Prime like 8 years ago.
You got to keep an eye on.
But it renews. Check your bill because I imagine it renews at a price that you're gonna
Exactly
be
right.
alarmed by.
You got to keep an eye on that. And also, here's a little life hack attack. If we're gonna do life hack attack, this is what you do.
Whisper.
They'll send you notifications saying your Amazon Prime subscription is gonna raise in price next year. So what you do is you buy yourself a gift of an Amazon Prime subscription for a year. Or possibly 2, and they just give you a code, and you lock it in at the price before the price changes. And then every year, you just put in the code and you get it at 2 years previous price, saving you money.
We've told people before, I don't know if this is still something that you can do, but in years past, we've saved people a lot of money by telling them to cancel their DirecTV and then watch as they try and give it to you cheaper. Cancel your red zone.
This is the weekend to do it, isn't it?
I don't know if it still works or not. We haven't tried it in 5 or 7 years. Where you call DirecTV, you say you're going to cancel your red zone, and then they offer you the red zone for less in order.
You have to have a real lack of shame for that, though. That's a tough conversation to have
To say I'm going to cancel?
as a decent human. Just like the threat of like
you
just
don't want to be indecent to this mega corporation that's making billions of dollars.
It's just
I don't want to be rude to Mr. Direct.
It's a hard
and Mr.
conversation
TV.
to have. I'm not good at these conversations.
I'm bad at threatening people
I'll just be
too.
like, you know what? You seem like you've had a long day. I'll pay a little more.
Wow.
We start
What's
with
your Venmo? I'll give you a tip.
We start with Whittingham saying he doesn't like to confront people. A half asleep Amin refusing to tell the yammering loud person on a flight to shut up for 5.5 hours. And finally, at the end, Chris is like, I'll pay extra. Just don't make me have an awkward conversation with
It's more you don't want to spend a Saturday arguing with customer service. That's really
Put me
what
on
it
hold
is.
for 20 minutes, and then
Right.
I have to sit there in my own thoughts of like, you feel good about yourself? This is what you're doing on a Saturday.
I'm telling everybody right now, if you did not know it was back, you better get your Red Zone channel now. Do not make the mistake. I have made 2 seasons now where I'm trying to get it on Sunday. And
on
I'm
like
on
12:45.
Oh, it's such a helpless, hopeless feeling when I have forgotten to get
You
it.
will be on hold for 72 hours.
It is. We will get back to you. Your call time is the 2025 NFL season.
And the best part too is that channel, if you forget to cancel at the end of the season, you can pay like $40 in carriage fees for like the screen that shows nothing
And just
That-
the opera.
Love that scene. I love
the
that
orchestra,
screen.
the
NFL Films
orchestra
is
music.
great. The NFL Films music is tremendous.
You need to set your reminder right now for like mid-January. Call and cancel the channel.
Yes.
Like set it in your calendar. Set it and forget
Really?
it. You've never
I
done
think I
it?
just pay for it
Oh,
year
you
round.
fool.
spent like $250.
I have a
And they
Already
said it
done
was
the same
40.
thing.
Chris is going to try to cancel and then end up paying $50 now.
Is Amazon Prime worth it?
1,000,000%.
You get it for free. Like if you have
Like-
Amazon Prime to buy things on Amazon, you get
You
the
get
channel
Prime
for
Video
free.
for free.
No, I'm not saying is the video worth it. I'm saying the entire. When
whole
you
thing.
say it's $159,
Do you not pay attention? I told you how I bought something, said, guess what, guys, don't want it. Let me send it back. Let me bring in the refund process, which is super easy. They send you a barcode, and you drop it off at a UPS store, and that's it. They scan, you're done. And you know what they said to me? They said, you know what? Keep it. Here's your money back. And you're asking me if it's worth it? Man, give me all my money. Let me give it to Jeff Bezos right now, man. Amazon Prime is the most worth it subscription I have of any subscription I've ever had in my life. And that includes Columbia House, 11 CDs for just $1
Wow.
I'm convinced my wife is running like an underground clothes business with all the Amazon packages that she tries stuff on, boxes disappear, she sends stuff back. There's something fishy going on. Check my wife out, Amazon. What am I doing right now?
Okay. What? Amazon.
I just had a thought and I kind of
her out.
I talked it out too much.
Yeah.
I read something the other day. I believe it was from Robert Reich saying that Jeff Bezos' worth. He bought something in Beverly Hills, a $150 million mansion or $137 million mansion.
Slumming it.
And yes, basically, they said it's the equivalent of somebody who makes $66,000 a year purchasing a home for $66.
Slumming it.
God.
Bullshit, man.
Slumming it.
Because he is simply taken over commerce, and everyone is a meme now. Where there's going to be no ability to avoid this thing. Anything you want in the world, you're going to have to give Bezos money. And
Same day delivery sometimes, man. What are y'all talking about? I get it before 6 p.m.
You're right.
Hell yeah.
You're right, though. I mean, it comes in clutch so often for me where you like need something by Thursday, it's Tuesday, and it gets there on
Dude.
Wednesday. It's fundamental to my existence.
Tony, when we went to Milwaukee, half that shit was from Amazon. The only thing we couldn't get was the basket because they would have delivered it to the hotel and then I would have to like transport it somehow. So that's the only thing where I didn't do that. But like everything else we got in Milwaukee to do the whole dunk tank thing was all from Amazon.
Wait, so you bought a dunk tank on Amazon?
Well, no, the dunk tank was.
That was another guy,
a
yeah.
rental,
What was the
yeah.
basket?
What was his name?
I don't remember.
He was a good guy too.
It was
My
a good,
guy.
he was a good
Yeah,
dude,
he was a good
man.
guy.
Really not an important detail.
No,
Yeah.
but he was a good guy though.
We wanted to
This
shout him
guy,
out.
though.
Tony, what kind
Carl.
of Tony?
Dan, I'm sorry.
Go
name
sit
was
in the
Jeff.
Go
I'm
sit
sorry.
in the
Dan,
penalty
I'm
box.
sorry.
Go sit in the penalty
My
box.
bad. No, that's on me. You're right. You're right. That's on me. That's on me.
Show here.
That's on
I'm
me. You're
curious
right,
though.
you're
He
right.
sound. He probably had a fun name.
He was a good guy.
What
though.
was it?
He was a good guy, though.
We gotta get to the. We gotta close this loop.
How is the payoff? Tony asking what was his name, Amin not remembering, and then the contribution is good guy.
The
My guy.
knowing grin too. They grinned at each other. Oh man, remember that guy?
I
Fun
still
times.
I don't know
Good
what the
times.
basket was for that you couldn't get.
We all have that guy though, right? And are like, Woody, remember
Yeah, we
our
got
tour
guy.
guide in L.A.?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, we can do an
What
impersonation.
was his name?
Oh, remember the dealer in Lake Tahoe that
again?
saved your night?
What dealer?
Oh come on, blackjack dealer.
Oh
What are you
yes. Oh
doing?
yeah. You had to be more specific.
I mean, yeah.
Most uncomfortable moment, Suey. Next.
And now the Suey nominees for Most Uncomfortable Moment. Chris Whittingham mansplains childbirth to Jessica.
What was the invention that you guys were convinced when you were younger? Like, we'll definitely have this by the time I'm a grown up. For me, it was natural childbirth. I was in 8th grade. I learned all about the birds and the bees. It was a little late. I know Catholic school, they don't really teach you about anatomy there till you're way too old to know about it. And I was like, you know what? By the time this matters to me, like, there's going to be some other way to do this that it's not going to inflict any pain. It's going to be super
They're called
easy.
cesarean
It's going to be
sections.
very... Witty, that's like a
C-section.
That's not easy or safe. Like that.
It's better than natural childbirth,
That's a
isn't
major
it?
surgery.
we doing?
I'm very confused. We're
Please
talking
don't
about flying
mansplain
cars, and now we're.
childbirth. I'm in the middle of something, Witty.
Waiting for
Anyways,
flying
I thought
cars
that
forever,
something like
too.
that would exist by the time I was a grown up. It doesn't.
Billy Gill steps in it with the show's engineer, Bob.
Bob looks nice today, as you guys can now see if you're watching on YouTube. Look how sharp Bob looks. So I wanted to tell Bob, hey, Bob, you look great today. You look very, very nice. But I told you that I have a reluctance to say that because I've worried, because in the past I've said that to people here, and they've been like, oh, I actually have to go to like a funeral afterwards, whatever. So I was like, I'm not going to say it. And then I bragged to Tony. I was like, look how much I've grown. I didn't do it. And then I did it on the air like a dum-dum. And then I thought that we were done. And then we saw the Zoom chat.
The timing could not have been better.
Yeah.
As soon as the segment ended, I was like, oh no. And Billy's like, what? And I was like, did you see Bob in the chat? And Bob wrote, funny you should say that. I'm taking care of my ailing neighbor that is nearing death.
Why are we all laughing at this?
Because Billy's an idiot.
The timing was so good. I mean, it couldn't have been a better moment in time.
I felt horrible, but you know what else I learned in talking to a couple of knuckleheads back here? There was people that knew this situation was going on, one of which is Tony, who I confided in and
Yeah.
never told me, like, hey, good thing you didn't say anything, because he knew something was going on.
I forgot. I know that Bob is taking
Forgot?
care of an old lady who's, not doing so great. Bob has confided me in that, so I didn't want to betray his trust about him taking care of an older lady.
Nice.
It's a good job out of you, Tony.
So Tony with privacy.
It is not a good
you
job
did
out
not
of
help.
him.
You
Back
did
to
not
Billy
help
being
your
the jerk.
friend.
Yep.
No,
Definitely.
it's a horrible
Yes,
job.
okay.
He could have privately pulled me aside and said, no, like, good thing you didn't say because blah, blah, blah. Like,
He didn't know you were going to say it on air, though. How could
he
he have
knew
known
I was
that?
going to say it on air. This guy's a devil on my shoulder.
Billy Gill goes after Bob Barker and Betty White.
98 years old, Bob Barker. Still with us.
Wow.
He looks every day of it, too. No offense, Bob Barker.
No offense. Jesus, Billy. What do you mean, no offense, Bob Barker?
Not to beat a dead horse with the People magazine Betty White conversation. The headline of the story they published on December 28th was, Betty White reveals her secrets to a happy life at 100. Quote, I'm so lucky to be in such good health.
Billy, you
Is that
can't.
a snort from Billy?
Billy,
It was.
Billy, what was that sound? What just
It was a
happened?
mixture of a laugh and a snort, yeah.
And you held your
I
hand.
thought I'd covered
Oh,
it.
Lord.
It snuck out between two of your fingers, Billy, that were covering your mouth and your nose.
Chris Cody makes it weird with Joey Chestnut.
Is there a food you can eat the least of, oddly? Like, all these foods you can crush, but you put a rack of ribs in front of you, you can't get through it.
No.
He's like, what are you, idiot.
If I like the food, like if I like it, I want to eat a lot of
Like
it.
I'm Joey
It's
Chestnut.
a curse.
I'm sorry, I made it weird.
Like if they're
Joey, I feel like me and you would be
down.
friends. I feel like you and I, if like we met, it'd be like, yo, we should hang out more often. You don't agree? All right, good talking to you, Joey. Thank you.
So embarrassing. Just so embarrassing. I'm
Joey,
sorry,
next
Joey.
time you come to Miami, we'll all take you out for croquetas. You and Chris Cody can become best friends.
Yes.
Deal?
and the Cuban coffee. That's awesome.
Dan being awkward, coming out of the gates hot at the start of the Paul O'Neill interview.
Is Paul O'Neill coming to us from this strange studio in Ohio where he is separated from his Yankee colleagues who are broadcasting the games back in New York? I've been told that Paul joins them by Zoom. Is that where you're joining us from, Paul?
I am. I've learned a lot here in the first 5 minutes waiting to get on here, and I see that you have all the problems all figured out.
I do. Thank you for joining us.
He thinks he does.
Swinging a hit, 9 innings of what baseball taught me is available May 24th. You please tell me, though, what you think I got wrong there.
I don't want to go into the long list. We only got so many minutes here. But you know what? Sports are sports, and that's what's great about them. We can talk about them. We can argue about them. But at the end of the day, it's who wins or who loses.
He's right. Sports are sports, Dan. I mean, professional hitter.
But I'd be perfectly fine. I mean, we could talk about your book, but I'd also be perfectly fine if you enumerated all the things I got wrong for as long as you'd like to talk about it.
He said not enough time.
But I'm saying I do have enough time. I will talk to him for the
But
rest.
he doesn't.
I will talk for the rest of time if he wants to correct anything it is that I got wrong.
Onward.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good move. We don't have to stay there, Dan.
Yeah.
Can you tell us how awkward it is, Paul, to do the broadcasts remotely?
No, it's fine. I mean, this is what the past couple of years have done.
Dan being awkwardly persistent about Paul O'Neill's background at the end of the interview.
Paul, thank you. Thank you for being on with us. How did you get that up in your house? Is that a towel? Is that a curtain? Did they mail that in? The Yes Network? What is that? What's the fabric
You know
behind
what?
you?
This has been up for a couple of years, and my wife, who is my technician, she hangs it proudly. So please don't say anything bad about it or the decoration.
As a curtain or bed sheets, it just looks substantive. It looks thick. It looks a good audio quality. It looks like I'm just curious what the fabric is.
Well, it is cloth. See, we can move it.
Wow.
That's beautiful.
Cloth.
The rare fabric.
Journalism.
Weird.
Journalism. I did hard-hitting journalism.
Trying to sew something out of it, Dan? Like, what are we doing
What are
here?
you doing there?
Paul, thank you for being on with us. I was trying to end it more awkwardly than I began it. Thank you, sir.
Congrats.
Kevin
You
Mitchell,
guys
well
have a great
done.
day. I'll talk to you
Thank
soon.
you, Paul.
Thank you,
Mr.
Paul.
O'Neill.
Thank you,
Thank
We could
Paul.
all had a laugh on John Jaha, but he had to ask about the fabric.
I know we could have, but he didn't seem. He was a very reluctant player of the Kevin Mitchell game. We finally got Kevin Mitchell, and I feel like we got a big victory there at the end. And I thought we should stop pressing our luck.
Let me ask you a genuine question. Do you have a right foot that you like to get off on? Because it's just every time. Like, you came at him swinging. Like, well, here's the unvaxxed Paul O'Neill, everybody. He's been at his home for 2 years. It's embarrassing. Paul, tell me about it.
Tell me what I said wrong.
Yeah. What do you mean I got it wrong?
Debate me.
About Luca? Huh?
Probably won't get the salacious stories in this book, but still check it out.
It won't be the stories you want. I haven't read it, but I'm an asshole.
Do you have a right foot? I mean,
That is exactly right.
Give me your top 5. I'll disagree with everything.
I mean,
But you were right
Dan
there.
was right
Dan
about
was
that.
right there.
I did it to Crawford.
I was right.
Dan
I was
did
right
it
on the
here.
other
He
one,
needed
too.
to.
I was right on the
He
other
wasn't
one,
playing
too.
it right.
Yeah, you were right on all of them.
You were
right on all of them.
Dan asked Jason McCourty about the Larry Izzo shitting on the sideline story.
You must know the story of Bill Belichick giving Larry Izzo a game ball one time because he successfully shit on the sidelines in a bucket without anyone noticing.
I've never heard that story. Larry Izzo is before my time. That doesn't surprise me, though, if that is in well true, but I've never heard that story.
Tell me again what you just said in my ear, Whittingham, because you're so right.
Yeah, there's a bit of a delay in our internet connection, and the 3-second wait in between when you asked the question and when Jason McCourty heard it really made me feel uncomfortable.
Yes, I was deeply uncomfortable as well. I think we were all made uncomfortable by that.
Why'd you assume everyone knows the inside story?
I just assumed I thought it was Patriots lore.
Dan won't stop asking Stan Van Gundy to call his mother live on the show.
Would you text one of the producers of this show your mother's telephone number so that you and your mom can break down this trade?
So it's 9:00 in the East. My mom and dad have already walked 4 or 5 miles today, and
so a Zoom link would be hard, though. We should probably just call her, right?
She's not doing Zoom links. Nope.
Okay, just text us her number, and we will get you and your mom. I would like for you to just tell her the details of the trade. No one else can have this sound. It is you and your mother giving us your exclusive thoughts on this trade between Tampa and Detroit. You're willing to do this with us, Stan?
Well, I couldn't get her right now. I know this. She's got weekly phone calls that she makes to friends of hers. And so she has calls at 9:00 on every day of the week. So
can we be added to the list? Billy wants to be added to the list. I'd like to be among
he's
her.
Not going to take no. He's not taking no for an answer. Just say yes.
But I'm not going to be able to get her right now.
Just pretend like you texted me the number. I'll pretend like I'm calling her, and I'll pretend like, it went to voicemail. She's
we'll
on
be
another
doing
line.
this till 2:00 in the afternoon.
Just
Please
say yes, please.
Please, just
The
I don't want him to
thing
yell
is
at me again.
She's not going to answer a cell phone or a text.
Just say yes,
Just
Dan.
say yes, please.
No, I'm not saying yes.
I'm driving to your mom's house. I'm driving to Tampa.
I'm going to your mom's house.
I'd have to talk to her and tell her what's going on and see if she wanted to be on. I'm not going to blindside her.
Okay, I'm going to blindside her in a second.
Jessica Smetana asks Lando Norris about an autographed photo that he didn't actually sign.
A fan sent me a picture of you once, and it had like an autograph on it. I was wondering if this was your real signature.
That's really not my signature. I'm sorry.
No,
wow.
It's scam. It's fraudulent.
It's a big scam.
Oh,
I haven't been paid for it or anything.
Oh no! What kind of introduction is that? You introducing him to counterfeit?
I can send you another one. I'll send you another one. That's probably one of my best ever photos. I'm a racing driver, but that's me modeling and pulling off some of my best modeling moves I've ever done in my life.
Tim Reynolds tells Chris Cody and Stugotz to keep it down in the Florida Panthers press box.
I'm so excited. Will Manso is down there doing a sad report in an empty arena.
Yes, Will Manso is down.
Will Manso!
Yo, Manso!
Manso!
Hey, where's Goldie? Hey!
Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry. They're doing a thing. We're doing a thing. I mean, talk about Verhage, man.
We just got in trouble.
Who yelled at us?
That was, yeah, it was Tim Reynolds of the AP. It's fine. It's fine.
Tim Reynolds got mad at you?
All right, so I think what just happened was we were doing our thing, having a good time, and Tim Reynolds is down there on Deadline maybe or something. I don't know. He writes, it's online now. Are you on Deadline anymore? Do they still print papers?
The other reporters, all the other writers, they're in the room right now getting sound. I mean, Tim Reynolds get over himself. I got to be honest with you. He's got an issue with me. Come on, let's go. I mean, listen, I'm Stugotz, he's Tim Reynolds.
This is instantly awkward, but it's honestly all we needed, and I'm happy.
Hold on, you still haven't told Carter Verhage yet, other than saying he wants you have sex. That is the breakdown of the game. Shh. We're in an empty hockey arena. We have to be quiet.
It's taken us a week and a half to get everyone mad at us in this press box. Why is he upset? That was really good. Should we walk over there with a mic?
I dare you to go ask him to come on.
Would you like to recap the game with us? Oh my God, Kodak Black's down there right now.
Yell his name.
No, I'm done yelling. I'm scared.
Listen to me. I'll talk about Carter Verhage.
Roy Bellamy says John Daly won't make it to the end of 2022.
John Daly has won 2 majors, and that's what created the legend of John Daly.
And hits the ball a mile.
There can't be a possibility that he's going to be able to see the end of 2022, is there?
Whoa.
Wow.
Dark.
He is living a life.
Dark. Whoa. You're killing him in the next few months?
Yes.
That's how dark your season has turned.
Yes.
You are saying you're choosing him in the death pool to be so unhealthy that he's going to die. Roy, why are you doing this with such confidence?
Because I'm broken, Dan. If my hockey team's going to die,
lashing out.
everybody else.
Stugotz embarrasses Mike Ryan and Chris Cody in Tahoe because of how loud he talks.
Shane Victorino right there. He's got to walk to him.
The fly in Hawaiian?
Don't
You're so loud.
You're so loud.
I don't care.
Your voice carries.
So what?
I know
Your voice carries.
What do you want me to do?
No, I don't want
golf
you to
whisper.
change it.
I mean, what should I do?
Ideally, I'd prefer you not saying "fly in Hawaiian" at the top of your lungs when Shane
Didn't I
Victorino
get
approaches.
caught?
Yeah, but you got
know
caught
what,
doing
Mike?
that too. Because I'm sandwiched in between two guys that can't help themselves.
Mike,
when
you know
it
what?
comes to the Philadelphia Phillies of the early 2000s.
Wait, so you want me to change just merely because we're right in front of these people? Like, I think deep down inside you want me to say the fly in Hawaiian.
No.
He just looked up.
I'd really prefer you don't, because it does bring me some shame.
Stugotz has zero subtlety talking about Boban Marjanovic.
I wouldn't want that coming after me. I don't know if you saw some of the photographs of Boban hugging Chris Paul after the game, but his hands, it made Chris Paul look like a fourth grader because his hands were enveloped the head of a Hall of Famer.
The hands, the feet are extraordinary as well. You never see his feet, but it's unreal in person.
How about his dick? We were all thinking it. I mean, was I just the only one? Dan, were you thinking about it? I felt it.
You felt his dick.
Well, I felt the thought is what I meant. I was wondering if, well, no. Was anyone else thinking it? You guys going to leave me alone here, huh? That's what's happening?
I mean, of his hands and his feet, you know?
Yeah. Anyone? Fine, I'm the only person that thought of Boban's dick. I mean, jeez. Give me a break. Liars. I mean, say it, Dan. You were thinking about his penis. Like, it's big. It has to be, right? Proportionally.
Stugotz goes a little too hard on Chris Paul.
Chris Paul. You know what you'll be remembered for most? Punching people in the balls.
Yeah.
The package. The penis. The dick. The cock. You know what I'm saying, Dan?
Yeah, no, I don't know. Please. I don't know yet. I don't know.
The schlong, Dan.
No, you've really escalated.
The Johnson.
Most known for.
The Twiggenberries, Dano. Again.
You made it a cereal. Twiggenberries.
Delicious.
Greg Cody's attempt at paying tribute to Julia Child.
Julia Child is genuinely a hero of mine, the French chef. And watching the documentary, you learn things about her as a person. I had no idea she was a chain smoker, big cigarette smoker. Huge woman, about 6'4", and what a chef, though. No, she was. I mean, I used too much butter.
I'm sorry, you watched a 2-hour documentary about Julia Child and came back with she was a chain smoker at 6'4".
Yeah, huge woman.
Huge.
No, she was
6'2". What?
And she used too much butter.
Dan awkwardly asked Molly Knight about her dog during their serious Trevor Bauer discussion.
Obviously, as a writer or as a human, you're going to screw up and you're going to step on some toes or hurt someone's feelings. And, you just have to apologize for that and move on. And someone like him, it's all about bullying. It always has been. And it's ironic because he says he was bullied as bullied badly as a teenager or pre-teenager in high school. And he's doing the same thing. He's done the same thing. And I've actually I've gotten a lot of requests to speak about Bauer on the radio in LA and nationally. And I've turned down every request. This is my first one. Dan, I just love your work. And I think you are, a good person. And, you're not going to be asking me all about how credible I find the victim and putting her on trial. It's a really sensitive subject, and there's really not a lot of upside in talking about it and getting his followers all pissed off and coming after me. But yeah, after yesterday, I just think it's important to talk about it.
I want to go through some of these details, but we should tell the audience because that was inopportune. And thank you for the compliment, but you're talking about serious stuff, and we had a visitor there who's been jangling around the premises here for a while, and we might as well introduce the audience to him or her. So who's hanging around with us? Who's that dog?
Oh, my dog?
Yes. Yeah.
My
We might
dog,
have been
George.
talking about Stugotz.
Yeah.
Sorry, he's jangling around.
You're not that nice when my dog shows up.
No,
he's a 9-month-old cattle dog.
Stugotz's awkward interaction with Justin Timberlake in Tahoe.
Who's this coming over?
Timberlake's walking over.
I wanted to ask Jay Billis about
walking to us?
I
He's
Come in
walking
Peace.
directly at
Have you
us.
ever seen I Come in Peace?
No.
It's a movie about aliens, but Jay Billis was an alien in it.
Right, really?
Yeah. No, he was a star turn.
Wow.
Interesting.
What up,
Yeah.
JT?
What's up, guys?
What's
you
up,
doing?
man? Good luck today, boy.
Jay Billis was in. Jay Billis was in the side. Here, I'm
Today, boy.
That's how I talk to him. He's my friend. If you know him the way I know him growing up, everyone knows to call him boy.
I Come in Peace. Don't do that. You just embarrassed me so much. You're like my dad.
Mike Ryan's awkward interaction with Nick Jonas in Tahoe.
Okay, guys, Nick Jonas is walking this way.
Can we get him to say what's up?
We're gonna
All
definitely.
right, and we got to put him in. We got to tag him.
I'll turn my.
We've had
my
Timberlake.
mic.
We've had Vince Carter. We've had
Joe Mauer. We had a
If he
full
says
conversation with
hello,
Joe. Like
if he
Joe
says-
Mauer basically sat down for an interview with us.
If he says hello, we got to be like, "Can you say louder?"
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
We had Charles Woodson.
No,
on too,
we're gonna go.
he's got
I
the
know
glasses
exactly. I'm gonna say
Did we
that
have-
shot on 18. Oh my god.
I remember I tried to
Do we
that
have
4
Charles?
days ago.
Yeah. We're gonna get Barkley.
Hey, what's up, Nick?
Nick.
Good luck today. That shot on 18. My God. Woo.
Duh.
You made it weird. That time you embarrassed us.
Yeah, I
Mike.
did.
Yeah, boy.
He literally looked through you right there, like, what?
Yeah.
All right.
You saw me. I was gonna say my God, pal, and I immediately started leaking confidence that I ejected on pal.
That was almost as bad as Stugotz saying to Justin Timberlake, "Good luck, bud."
So thanks to Nick Jonas for joining us on the show.
No, I don't think we can say that.
Why? Did you guys get it? Did
No,
you get
no,
Nick?
did
You
we
got
get-
Nick? Yes!
Nick, yeah.
Dan Le Batard, Roy Bellamy, and Mike Ryan's awkward interview with Michelle Tafoya.
Michelle Tafoya, who I've not talked to since the very nice time of doing PTI with her, and I've had nothing but cordial experiences with her. But I've read recently that you have been on the dark side, secretly on the dark side. And so walk me through. Good to see you again, Michelle, by the way.
Hi, I guess from the dark side. I didn't know that it was dark, but thanks for letting me know. Maybe I should turn on some more lights in here. To divide people by color and assign senses of spirit and feeling and belief to them based on the color of their skin before they even speak, which is kind of what's happening here. Go ahead.
I'm not stopping you from speaking. You just stopped yourself from speaking. I'm a Latino man. I'm not infringing on your. I'm not infringing on your right.
But what the audience can't see is you saying, "Oh my God," and reacting.
Michelle, you've done that to me, and I'm not calling you out on it. I keep it moving because I'm trying
you
to
out
have
on it because you seem to be so angry with me, and
I'm not angry with you. I feel like you're setting
up me on this show to just come right out of the gate.
No,
I think assume that I am some sort of. I don't know what you made the assumption. I'm on the dark side was like in the first 10 seconds of the interview. I don't understand this.
Progress for the moment. We will pick it up at another time. I'll see if I can get you to 8th grade, and by the end, we're going to chisel you down. First graders are going to be taught facts about racial history in this country over time. Her new podcast, Sideline Sanity, launched last month. You get it wherever you get your podcast.
Dan,
Yes, ma'am.
Dan, you can't get away with that.
What happened?
I have always said I want history taught truthfully from beginning to end to every grade level. That I have no argument with. So please don't put words in my mouth that I don't want 8th graders taught history. That's not at all where I stand.
She doesn't have the time to do it now, but I'm assuming you're doing it on Sideline Sanity, correct? So if they want more of your thoughts here, that's where they can get them. Yes, Michelle?
Yes.
Stugotz gets genuinely upset with Dan.
Darkly enraged. He came in for some reason because we were all stunned. $5.
The mic was off. $5 for you.
This is going to be a rough one today because he's somehow mad at us.
I'm not mad at anyone.
All that's happened.
Tired of you.
What has happened here is Stugotz has yanked every schedule around the last 2 days.
I've yanked my schedule around. Go ahead.
We had to come in the middle of the morning yesterday.
Right.
Okay, look, I'm telling you, he's pissed at us, and this is my.
I'm not. Let me be very clear. Not mad at any single person in that room.
You're mad at me.
I'm not even mad at you. Now, I'm frustrated by Dan because what happens when I leave this studio and when I get back the next day, none of your business. You seem to think it is. But I come to work, I do my job, I deal with
bullshit for the rest of the day that I don't need to deal with because I'm busy doing other stuff, like you posting personal emails of mine, but I'm not mad at you. I should be mad at you, but I am not.
Okay, so let's talk this out because I purposely wanted to take people totally behind the scenes here, and Stugotz and I have not talked since the last 2 days of chaos that have resulted in Jessica, Chris Cody, and I think Roy being totally stunned when Stugotz walked in here this morning because we all thought that he was going to end up wherever he was ending up with his personal time, which is none of my business, but has become our business, and in the last few weeks has altered our schedules because you're following the Grateful Dead, and we're trying to work around your schedule, everybody here, lovingly. And
Work around my schedule. I go to Dead shows. Like, I have vacation time like everyone else. You should take one.
Amin El Hassan has some interesting show research on his laptop when Kevin O'Connor joins.
We've got Kevin O'Connor from The Ringer joining us on the post-game show.
Yeah.
What the hell? Okay.
You can't figure it out, can you?
KFC's trying so hard to get out of here. Yep.
In my defense, hold on. In my defense, believe it or not, I can't even say this shit out loud. In my defense, we were doing research for a movie that involved a certain adult film actress, and so I was searching.
That's what on the computer.
Whoa! What are you doing? You left your computer earlier. What are you doing to me?
Oh my God! Hold on.
Goodness.
That was
What are you doing
7 hours ago. That was 7 hours ago.
I swear to God, it was research. I swear to God.
Yo,
Zach. You know what?
Did KOC just catch you watching porn?
I don't know what you're talking about.
No, hold on.
I don't know what you're talking about.
We recorded
What
a podcast today. What's up?
Sure.
What podcast? What are you talking about?
It's called Cinephobe. It's the podcast where you and I watch movies that are poorly rated on Rotten Tomatoes.
We don't watch porn.
Whether they're actually poorly rated or perhaps didn't get a fair shake at Cinephobe. Produced by Anthony Mays. Wherever you get podcasts this month, Matthew McConaughey month. And we were watching a movie, and in the movie there was an adult film star that I did not know was an adult film star.
I don't know about this. I don't know about this.
I decided
this sounds very fishy.
in the middle of doing the podcast, search.
You didn't know she was a.
If I could pull up the tabs again,
star.
I will show you the name.
I mean, you can pull up your history.
Yeah. I can show you
No, you don't. No.
This is how I spent my evening last night because Mike Schur and Joe Posnanski know a ton about baseball, and their podcast is sort of about baseball, but not really. You should check it out. The podcast as part of the LeBatard and Friends network. But I was, Kyle Schwarber has 36 home runs and 78 RBI, and I will never get used to that. And Mike Schur is like, it's a lot worse than that. And who was that? The Buxton guy? What is he? 28 home runs and 51 RBI this season is what it is that baseball is giving you. 28 home runs and 51 RBI does not seem possible.
Yeah, that's an extreme one. But Trout is like 31, 61 now or something. Like there's a bunch of guys who are barely over 2 RBI per home run, and Buxton's under. So it's just a factor of nobody hitting, nobody getting on base, the shift taking away base hits that then mean that no one's on when you hit a home run. I mean, 28-51 is insane. Like that's intense, even for a guy who hits leadoff. That's bananas. But like that's just what happens when hitting is down across the league, then no one's on base. So the home runs are solo shots.
Well, Posnanski was saying that guy, Buxton, he's with men on third, he's 1 for 19. He's hitting with people in scoring position, 145. And he was saying that just on-base percentage league average is now 310. That used to be, a good batting average. And now the league average on-base percentage is so low that a failure rate of 3 out of 10 times getting on base is the average for every major leaguer. That's crazy.
Yeah, but that's also what happens when you have incredible amounts of data that tell you exactly where a guy's going to hit the ball. We've talked about this before. A ball ripped up the middle used to be a hit every time, and it's now a ground out to the shortstop. And a ball pulled by a left-handed hitter that lands 100 feet out in right field used to be a base hit. Now it's a easy line drive to the second baseman who's playing a softball position. And the pitchers are all throwing 99 with insane movement. And so the margin for error in terms of actually making contact with the ball has never been smaller. And then you get a bunch of guys who are, it's home run or bust. It's a bummer.
Let's go ahead and do stat of the day. What are you guys laughing about back there?
We're trying to fix baseball. What do you guys think about putting a cap on miles per hour? Yeah. If it's 100 miles an hour, ball.
Like softball, you're allowed to hit like 2 home runs an inning, and if you hit a home run, it's an out.
You get caught for speeding? Is that what you're saying?
Ooh, speeding tickets.
Oh, man, I like this.
You want people to throw less hard?
I'm just saying, people seem to be complaining, oh, nowadays everyone throws so hard. Let's make it easier on the hitters. Cap your speed.
Guys, it's beyond hard now because, like, Mike Schur has been sending me, I mean, not the name drop, Mike Schur texts me sometimes. But, like, it's just, like, insane movements. Like, this is a 105-mile-an-hour sinker. This is a 103-mile-an-hour ball that's just moving horizontally 20 inches. It's becoming
a two-seamer running in at your hands.
Impossible to hit the ball. And it's not just velocity, it's the movement with the velocity.
I was watching last night, don't ask me why, Phillies, Marlins, and Bryce Harper.
Gambling again.
Bryce Harper has had 162 games against the Marlins, and basically, against just the Marlins, all of it is, 30 homers, 111 RBI, all the counting stats and all the advanced stats are great. And he's facing Luzardo, and he strikes out 3 times and has no chance against anything. Like, now this is the Marlins' 3rd or 4th starter, and he's throwing from the left side. And Bryce Harper just keeps striking out and is late on everything, and that's as good as they come. Because
How about this? 4 or 5, something like that, 5 times a game, every pitcher has to throw a pitch with his non-dominant hand.
Ooh.
So Luzardo has to throw right-handed like 3 times in the first 5 innings.
What happened to that guy that would switch gloves on the mound? Do you remember him?
Greg W. Harris. He was an ambidextrous pitcher.
Yeah, the switch pitcher.
I saw a switch quarterback thing on Twitter the other day, and people were like, this is going to change the league, because the guy was like running around throwing the ball right-handed and then left-handed, and I'm looking, I'm like, this guy's like 5'6", $135. Like, this guy will get absolutely destroyed in the NFL.
My son showed me that. My son rushed in and showed me this something on TikTok or whatever. It was like, this quarterback throws with both of his hands, and then I was like, cool, and he was like, he thought for a second, then he was like, how would that help him? And I was like, it won't. Like,
what an interesting discovery to make after he's presenting it to you as
I guess you're never throwing across your body, I suppose. Like if you're rolling out to your left, rolling out to your left, and you throw
twice
your
a
left.
game, he'll roll to his left, switch hands, and then try to throw a pass left-handed.
Well, Mahomes does it anyway. So
yeah.
Let's go ahead and do the stat of the day.
Start of the day, start of the day. It is your start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is your start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is your start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is your start of the day.
Congratulations to the Minnesota Twins, who did not lose to the New York Yankees last night because the game was rained out. But since 2002, and we've talked about this before on the podcast and I think on this show too, the Minnesota Twins are 37-96 against the Yankees and 2-16 against them in the playoffs, including 13 straight postseason losses dating back to 2004. That's a 39-112 record, which is a .258 winning percentage in almost a full season's worth of games. There are only 5 teams who have had a worse winning percentage over the course of a season since the turn of the century than the Twins have against the Yankees, and none since World War II. The 1962 Mets, that famous, terrible, hapless team that finished 60.5 games out of first place, had a better winning percentage than the Twins have against the Yankees over the last 20 years. And in 1992-93, and this really, I think, puts it into perspective, guys, Manute Bol had a higher 3-point percentage than the Twins have a winning percentage against the Yankees since 2002.
What was that
one
record?
of the weirdest ongoing. Their total record against the Yankees is 39-112 over the last 20 seasons.
They got their number, Dano.
It's good analysis by you.
That is crazy. What did you make of this here? I saw that the Mets lost to the Pirates last night, and it's the first time since 1938 that they've gone 3 straight days. A team 35 games over 500 has gone 3 straight times into playing a team 35 games under 500 and lost all 3 games as Stugotz worries that the Mets have been caught by the Braves now, right?
Yeah, the Braves tied them up last night. This is by the way, I think that stat was put on Twitter by Stats by Stats, the @Stats by Stats handle, which I should clean up from yesterday. I got my stat yesterday from them. They're great. You should all check them out. That Mets thing, the Mets are still really good, but they lost Scherzer, and they've had a couple of guys hit slumps at the wrong time, and Scherzer's skipping a start, and like some other guys are hurt, and that's if I can borrow a phrase from Tim Kirkchin, this is what you love about baseball, is that every day you see something you've never seen before. And they just lost 3 straight games against 3 of the worst teams in baseball as they continue to be one of the best teams in baseball. It's amazing.
Mike, Jeff Passan tweeted yesterday a blind taste test of 4 different players and their stats. Player A and Player B are hitters. Yeah. Player C and Player D are pitchers. And basically, the stats are very comparable. 283 batting average, 33 home runs, 74 RBI versus player B, 270, 32 home runs, 85 RBI. And then for the pitchers, 147 innings pitched and 27% strikeout rate and 2.2 ERA. And then player D, 136 innings pitched, 27% strikeout rate and 2.58 ERA. And then he reveals what the blind taste test is. Mookie Betts is player A. Shane McClanahan is player C. Shohei Ohtani is the other 2 guys.
That's right.
So he's hitting like Mookie Betts and he's pitching like Shane McClanahan. And so help me wrap my head around this, Mike, as someone who is not an avid baseball
He's
fan.
got to be the MVP, correct, Mike? He's got to be the MVP, correct?
He is the MVP. Judge is going to win because people love the story of a Yankee dragging his team to glory. And he's slightly ahead. If you just add their wars, if you just add Ohtani's pitching war to his hitting war, Judge is they're basically even, but Judge is slightly ahead. But that doesn't matter to me because Ohtani's top 10 in both OPS in the league and also fielding independent pitching, which is basically just a better ERA. His OPS is right between Jose Altuve and Freddie Freeman. And his fielding independent pitching is between Max Fried and Justin Verlander. So he's roughly Freddie Freeman or Altuve as a hitter, and he's roughly Max Fried or Verlander as a pitcher. Verlander might win the Cy Young. Like Freddie Freeman is a dark horse MVP candidate. Like the idea that those guys are the same guy is not. To help you wrap your head around it, imagine that a guy in football led the league in yards passing and also tackles, or that a basketball player led the league in both 3-point percentage and block shots and won defensive player of the year and also assists and rebounds. It's hard. It's impossible. There's no comp for this. It's never happened before. The stat I gave yesterday was that he has had 6 games of 2 or more homers as a hitter and 9 games of 10 or more strikeouts as a pitcher. And no one else in the history of the game has ever had 6 of each kind of game for a career. And he's done it just this season. It doesn't make any sense. It's honestly, the best comp is if someone were the best quarterback in the league and also the best middle linebacker. That's as close as you can get to trying to approximate it in another sport.
Given that, why isn't he a bigger deal?
Because he plays in Anaheim, California, where the games on the East Coast start at 10 p.m. and no one watches them. And Anaheim stinks. The team stinks, and they're 20 games under 500, and they haven't been relevant in years. And so no one. I mean, the league is trying. They're trying to make him into a big deal, but I mean, you can't make any baseball player a big deal because nobody watches the games nationally. There's no national equivalent of Sunday at 4 for baseball. So as a result, just no one really is paying attention. And I think we talked about this yesterday, but I think he's going to play on a different team very soon. I think he's going to go to, I don't know, he'll go to the Mets, or he'll go to even if he just went 40 miles north and played for the Dodgers, he'd be a much bigger deal. So I think he just chose a sort of weird black hole to play in. And so no one cares about him. I mean, People care about him, but he hasn't like captured the nation's consciousness the way that he should have.
What can baseball do, though? Because like we spoke earlier this year when the Angels were coming down to face the Marlins, and Shohei and Sandy missed each other by a day in terms of pitching. But baseball plays every single day, so you can't just kind of create those matchups if you're Major League Baseball, right? Like you can't decide, hey, Angels, move someone back a day so we get this primetime game that everyone can watch. So how can they fix it?
I don't know. I mean, and even if they could, would the nation be captivated by Angels Marlins on a random Saturday or whatever in May? Probably not, right? Like that's part of the problem is just the game's national popularity. It's completely atomized. It's a city, it's a local market game now. And you can't, there's like 3 times a year when he has the opportunity to capture the nation's attention. That's like the All-Star break, and maybe, I don't know, maybe that's really it. The All-Star break. I mean, what they should do is they should be setting up the Angels or whatever team he's on to play at every meaningful game that they can. So like if they do the Field of Dreams game next year, which I assume they will, the Angels should play in the Field of Dreams game. If they have any kind of like July 4th festivities, they should have the Angels play on July 4th in prime time. Like they should do whatever they can to put him front and center. But even then, I don't think that there's a way that he can break through the way that a football player or a basketball player can break through. It just doesn't happen in baseball anymore.
What if he played for the Yankees?
That would help. I mean, there's basically the marquee franchises that matter: Yankees, Red Sox, Dodgers, kind of the Mets now, sort of the Cardinals, but not really. Like that would help a little. I mean, obviously anybody who plays for the Yankees gets to be a bigger deal than they were before. But even then, I don't know that there's the version of any baseball player, including Shohei Ohtani, who's where Ken Griffey Jr. was when he was a star. I just don't think it can happen now. But they should try because he's their best chance to recapture some of that nation's attention that they used to have.
Put him in pinstripes.
We've got another Suey for you here. Best story coming at the end of the hour, but I wanted to talk, and you've mentioned this before, the way that science and aging have changed in sports. One of the best point guards ever, 41 years old, Sue Bird, has called it a career, 4-time champion, 13-time All-Star, 5 gold medals, NCAA champion as well. It is really amazing to me, Mike, to see athletes still playing into their 40s in a young man's game. We lose 2 legends here this week with Serena and Sue Bird. Just best we've ever seen type of like you could say GOAT without it being a dilution on GOAT on both of those, and pioneers that have had to have strength that even the men don't have in order to build their sports up.
Yeah, I mean, she was the best point guard in college. She was the best point guard in the WNBA almost immediately upon arriving in the WNBA. In her, whatever it was, second or third to last game, she drilled a corner 3 with 1 second left to give her team a 2-point lead in a playoff game. Like, she's still doing most of the stuff that she did when she was a 19-year-old at UConn. She's the best, man. I've loved watching her play. My older sister went to UConn, and I've been a UConn basketball fan my whole life. And the women's team has been, generally speaking, more fun to root for than the men's team. And I love that team. I love the Taurasi teams and the Sue Bird teams. Those are the teams of like my formative years as a fan. And it is amazing to think, like, to remember how long ago I was rooting for her at UConn and that she's still playing until yesterday. She's the best, that it is not just it's I think a testament not only to the technology and the science and the nutrition and everything else, but just to like the determination that certain athletes have to just be great and continue being great for as long as possible. Like, I think that has changed a little. I think people used to call it a career a little earlier because they'd be achy and they, their knees would creak or whatever. And now I think there's a certain kind of athlete who's just like, I'm not leaving until I decide I'm leaving. And that's like a new kind of cool mentality that certain people have. She's one of them.
Mike, good talking to you. Thank you, sir. Always good catching up with you. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right, folks. See you tomorrow.
Darren Ravel writes on Twitter, like it or not, Pat McAfee is the most powerful talent in sports media. And then the member of our army, newsreader 2242, writes in, Dan Le Batard would like a word.
Uh-huh.
And then Darren Ravel writes back, about what?
Oh.
God damn.
Oh, that's good. Chris, I thought of you yesterday when they announced the Paul Anderson Silva fight because I'm figuring that you're going to love this, even though Anderson Silva is 1-7 in the last decade. He's 1-7, and Jake Paul is doing such a good job of picking opponents because Anderson Silva at the time was the best pound-for-pound fighter in the history of MMA. But again, 1-7 in the last 10 years.
But if you look at the quotes of like people like who are his biggest critics, Dana White, he has been quoted, Jake will never take the fight with Anderson Silva. He has kind of held Anderson up as the guy in the range of people he could fight that could beat him. So I think it's a good spot because if Jake wins, Dana's going to have to eat some crow.
Silva's a better striker than Woodley, than anybody, I think, that Jake Paul has fought. But again, though, he's in his mid-40s and 10 years at 1-7. It just Paul is very smart about the opponents that he keeps picking, where he's picking names, but guys less likely to harm him than most. Tony, you're our MMA guy. Anderson Silva, pretty damn spent.
Yes, in MMA standards, right? The thing is, he's an elite striker, and his boxing has been out of control. He's been knocking people out in sparring. Like, he is a legitimate boxer, so it's a huge test for Jake Paul to actually fight somebody who is a fighter, right? Like, now he's a boxer. That's what Anderson Silva's been doing for the last, couple of years now. So it's going to be a massive fight. We actually might have a little MMA hangout for the Jake Paul and Anderson Silva fight.
Does this do nothing?
Hey, Dan, it's Billy over here in the kitchen area. So I got to first take a little late to the party today because we were doing Stat of the Day, but Stephen A. was going up against Jeff Saturday, and I think Mad Dog was on Jeff Saturday's team against Stephen A. We'll get back to that in a second. So when I walked in, they were in the middle of an argument where they were having the Eagles against the Cowboys and who was going to win the East. So then Stephen A. yelled very emphatically, the champions of what? And it was the champions of the division. They were going back and forth. And Stephen A. was arguing that the Cowboys will not win the division. Jeff Saturday was befuddled by this. And then Stephen A. said, you can pick anyone else in the division to win because the Cowboys are not going to win back-to-back. No one ever does. That's not what they're going to do. Cowboys won't win the division back-to-back. And then First Take started playing what I thought was a mistake because it was like this weird, sad music that was going on, and I was looking around, and I asked Mike Fuentes, I go, what is that? Because I thought maybe someone's phone was going off, someone was watching YouTube. I don't know what it was. It was First Take. They were playing a sad Cowboys fan montage with very sad, dramatic music underneath while they were doing the debate, which was a great touch. Then Stephen A. called the NFC East the NFC least. Then Mad Dog popped in for the first time in the segment that I caught, where he said Jalen Hurts got beat out by Tua, who got beat out by Fitzpatrick, to argue against the Eagles, even though I believe that he was arguing for the Eagles because he was going against Stephen A. It was confusing. You know that Stephen A. is not arguing on behalf of the Cowboys. So then they continued their fight where there was Eagles versus Cowboys. Mad Dog seemed to have what looked like to me to be a sports almanac on the desk in front of him. It was more than just his usual newspapers. It was a very thick book. I think he's getting geared up for NFL season, Dan. Then Molly brought QBR into the discussion. Stephen A. does not like QBR. He said, get that out of here. I have seen so many teams win the Super Bowl with bad quarterbacks, to which Mad Dog then interrupted and yelled, but they had great defenses. And this team doesn't have a great defense. And then the debate ended. They went to commercial, and then Mad Dog turned to Jeff Saturday and said, I think we won that 2-0. And Molly said, we had 3 topics, Mad Dog. Back to you, Dan.
Thank you, Billy. You were saying, Chris Cody, before you were interrupted by Stephen A. Smith's scream.
I'm asking, like, this doesn't get you? Like, you have no interest in this? I think if Jake Paul's just not going to ever interest you. Like, I think this is interesting. Like, of all the fights he's had so far, it's the best striker. And Dana White has to take an L if Jake Paul wins this. Like, he's publicly said, there's like montage, Jake Paul put it out yesterday, of him being like, he'll never take the fight. So I'm just interested in that aspect of
I'm
it.
not an absolutist about I won't watch any of these things, and I don't mind the extravaganza. I don't. I want events. I don't want to see Conor McGregor fight Floyd Mayweather again.
That was a big fight.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, that was good.
But no, this would get my interest because I actually think he's got a better chance. Silva has a better chance of embarrassing Paul than Woodley does, and it is the toughest of assignments. Even though he's fighting a 40-plus guy who's not a boxer but is an excellent striker in that sport, and so
and it's kind of like my theory with College Game Day. I don't really give a shit about the boxing. Just let me put on a fight on Saturday night, invite some friends over, order some chicken wings. Like, that's what I'm in it for. I don't give a shit if it's not the best quality boxing.
He has to be fairly confident he's going to win that fight, right? Because he canceled his last fight, and then there was a whole, well, you didn't drop enough weight, it wouldn't have been fair, while also going out and saying he wants to fight Conor McGregor, where Jake Paul is massively bigger than Conor McGregor is. So he has to feel like he can win this fight if he's going to go through all of this.
What, doesn't he feel like he's going to win every fight, though?
No, he backed out of his last fight.
But was that him backing out, or was that the guy was trying to do stuff with weight at the last second?
No,
so
the guy was much bigger than him and didn't drop enough weight. He's like, well, there's weight classes for a reason. It's like, well, there's only weight classes when the person's going to beat you.
That is true, because Jake's been much bigger than most of his opponents.
He fought
so far.
Nate Robinson.
Right, that is
How are
funny.
they in the same
it
weight
is funny
class?
that Jake was like, hey, whoa, this is not fair.
Do you think he took the last fight without knowing what his opponent looked like, and that was like, whoa?
What a great sentence from Tony. He fought Nate Robinson.
And now, the Suey nominees for Best Story. Jay Leno, Rodney Dangerfield's story.
I had Rodney on in 2004, right before he died. And Rodney was in his 80s and he's getting a little shaky. And he came out and he's doing his stand-up and he was off it. But, hey, I tell you, well, the hand was in the wrong place. I could tell something was wrong. I don't know if a regular audience member could. So while Rodney was doing his stand-up, I said to Debbie Vickers, our producer, I said, call the paramedics. I think Rodney's having a stroke. She goes, really? I go, yeah, he's sweating a little too much. I just think he's having a stroke. Call the paramedics. Okay. So Rodney finishes stand-up, sits down. Jay, I tell you, I'm okay today, but last week, I tell you, you're like this. Nobody makes me laugh like that. So anyway, he does fine. The show ends. Rodney's in the dressing room. By that time, the paramedics have showed up. And I said, Rodney, the paramedics are here. They want to take a look at you. He goes, I'm fine. No. Well, it turns out he did have a stroke. And they took him out in a stretcher. And Rodney went to the hospital. And about a day or so later, I got a call from Joan, his wife. She said, Jay, Rodney's in a coma. We don't know how much time he has left. Can you come by? I said, okay. So I ran down the hospital, and she says to me, Rodney's lying there with his eyes open. And she goes, Jay, I think Rodney can hear everything we say, but he can't respond. So I'm telling Rodney how much I love him and how much he meant to me and Seinfeld and all the guys, and he was the one we all looked up to, So then Joan says to me, Jay, put your finger in Rodney's hand. She goes, Rodney, if you know it's Jay, try to squeeze his finger. So I feel just a hint of the squeeze, And I went, Rodney, that's not my finger. And Rodney went like this. And he literally jumped. And Joan screamed, he got the joke. And I said, and we all had a good laugh. And he died right after that. And some people might think that's cruel. But if you're a comic, that's kind of what it is. It was really fun. It was.
No, it is beautiful. It is beautiful.
The guy who plays Elvis, the Kenosha Kingfish mascot, tells the story of A.J. Dillon knocking his mascot head off.
So I get up, I turn around, I get hit. Basically, I'm like, ugh. My head comes flying off. And so I'm just worried about all the kids in the stands who just saw headless Elvis. And so, I try to get back to get my head on as quickly as possible. And right when I got hit, I was a little stunned. And so I kind of got up. I kind of acted like it was supposed to happen. So I was like pumping up the crowd and stuff. And then
the mascot does. You're good.
Exactly what I was doing.
It's a real pro.
Yeah, I just put the head back on, went back to the office to recuperate a little bit. And then it wasn't the same the rest of the night, to be honest.
Right.
The energy or your head? Your head was fuzzy?
I was just out of it, to be honest. That was the only thing I was thinking about. I was walking around the ballpark. I was like, everybody just saw me get annihilated by AJ Dillon. And everybody's coming up to me, oh, you just got rocked. I was like, yeah.
Did AJ apologize or?
Yeah, he apologized later.
Right.
I got an autograph from him and Jordan Love, who was also at the game.
Nice.
I got a picture. And so, but I don't think he has any regrets, though. I'll say that.
It was backup night at Kenosha.
Van Lathan tells the story of his confrontation with Kanye West at TMZ.
I didn't know that he was coming in that day. They had made this interview with him. He was coming on TMZ Live, and I got told maybe 10 minutes before he walked in. And they said all the mics are going to be down. It's going to be Harvey, Charles, and Kanye talking. But Kanye decided to invite everybody else in the room to be a part of the conversation. Like, he would say something, and he would be talking to them, and he would turn around, he would scream at everybody, blah, 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 whatever. And there was a part where he also says some other stuff, too. He said, slavery, 400 years, that seemed like a choice to me. Okay, well, we could talk about that as people who have brains, and that's obviously stupid, right? Obviously demonstrates a vast ignorance when it comes to the history of slavery, to chattel slavery in America, to the slave trade itself, and to the generational bind that black people, his ancestors, mine and his ancestors, were in. So he says that, I don't say anything. He turns around and he asks everybody. He goes, does it feel like I'm thinking freely right now? He said that to us. And I'm like, no. I'm like, you know how I was feeling? I was like, I'm glad you asked, mother. No. It doesn't feel like you're thinking anything. It feels like you're just saying shit. And you're doing this, and it hurts because you're a cultural hero. You're an icon. We gave you this big-ass cultural gun. And we said, yay, in your music and in everywhere else you go use it on the people that's looking at us wrong. You inspired me. You energized me. You gave me so much. You were out making songs about things that I felt like you couldn't make a hot rap song about. When they put the mic on you, you said George Bush doesn't care about black people. That's how we felt. By the way, it wasn't just black people. Do you know how many people in New Orleans, period? We was all some niggas at that point. Like, we're just the people in New Orleans, black, white, red, or green, that were like, yo, finally someone's being like, they not paying attention to what's happening with us down here, right? So when I said I'm disappointed, I'm hurt, I'm appalled by what you've become, I meant it. And he listened. He was listening. So I think a lot of people, number one, it wasn't a venue where people would have expected that to happen.
No.
And then number two,
it's a gentler. I don't think of TMZ as gentle, but there, yes, I wouldn't expect. I would expect celebrity kiss ass.
Right. It wasn't a venue where people expected that to happen. And number two, I don't think people had, because you only get little bits on there. I don't think people had seen enough of me to understood that I had that in me. But after that, life changed right away. And
just like that, right then.
Right there, yeah.
Bill Lawrence tells the story of how he decided to make a kind show with Ted Lasso.
I told my daughter a story that there was, and I'll leave names out. There's a high school party when I was a senior in high school, and I kissed a girl that I thought was single, but it turned out she was not single. She was back together with her boyfriend, who was one of those bullies that we all remember, but he was the kid from high school that would never leave town, that didn't go on to college, and I zeroed in. I knew I was going to get beaten up because it was one of those horrible nights where everybody gathers outside of a party in a circle and they're going to watch you. It's like some rite of passage. And so they're all circled us, and I knew in my head, I'm like, all right, I'm going to let him hit me twice, and then I'll go down, and then hopefully it'll be over. He's a really big kid. And he said, go ahead, Lawrence, why don't you say something funny now? And I said his name. I said, I would say something funny, but someday you're going to be putting gas in my car.
Oh, there it is.
And I said, and I might need regular. And if you before I got to the word unleaded, he hit me so hard that my friend said, I was wearing Docksiders in Connecticut, shocker, that my friend said my Docksiders were still in the same place, but without my feet in them.
And because you had just hit him from the height of, like, with the movie line of condescension, the way that you would write it in a script if you were trying to be the dick who was making the young young man infuriating him in a way that makes it earn that he hits you like
Here's the point of the story. Charlotte, some people, my daughter, I could tell that as a fun memory. But when I was 24, I came home from L.A. to Connecticut, and I was writing on the show Friends, and I got out of the car from the airport, and he was mowing my lawn. He was working for a local landscaping company, and it didn't feel good at all. I felt like a horrible person and a piece of garbage, and our eyes met, and I know that was a horrible moment for him, because literally the last time we had contact was me saying that to that guy. And you could tell that story if you're a jerk of like, and then he got his because I came home.
My guess is that you probably wanted to go talk to him or something. That you didn't want to just lock eyes.
I didn't even know how to do it, man. I was so young. You know what I mean? But it's literally a story that haunts me. I'm telling it to you now. I can see it like it was yesterday. And I think that's the evolution as you grow up, maybe away from the snark.
Judd Apatow, Steve Martin's story.
It's so funny because as a kid, you just don't understand, like, you shouldn't walk up to people's homes. Like you guys don't want, like, strangers, listening to the show, just walking up to your house. But I didn't know that at 13, so I just saw him outside his house and walked up to him and asked him for his autograph. And rightly, he said no, because I don't do that at my house. And so I sent him a letter and said if he didn't send me an apology, I was going to send his address to Homes of the Stars, and he would have tour buses passing about 20 cars.
You're actively threatening Steve Martin for not giving you an autograph.
But then he sent me a book, and it said, he wrote in it, "To Judd, I'm sorry. I didn't realize I was speaking to the Judd Apatow." And the funny thing about that's so crazy, that was 42 years ago. I'm old as shit.
We all are.
Stugotz, Kanye West story.
It was the Super Bowl week. The Bears were down here playing, I believe, the Colts. Rex Grossman made a Super Bowl. It was Bears-Colts, Prince at halftime. And I told Joel, hey, let's just go get a shack in Fort Lauderdale. We'll broadcast from there. We'll do all the shows from there. We'll destroy the house. We agreed. He thought it was a good idea. And he came back to me 5 days later with a contract for the Versace mansion for a week. I mean, that's not what I wanted. And he told me to monetize it. He threw the contract on my desk. He said, monetize it. I said, did you sign the contract? I'd like to review it first. He said, it's already signed. Go monetize it. I'm like, how do you monetize a house? Like, what do you want me to do with it? But it was a great week. Like, I slept in the house. Kanye West rented a room. I passed Kanye while I had to go to the bathroom one morning. He said hi to me. I said hi to him. I mean, it was amazing. It was a fun week. That also put us out of business. I mean,
well, you're doing just fine to put him out of business.
He's doing just fine as well, I think. I hope.
He went to jail.
Wait, that was while he owned the station, Roy.
Stand-up comedian and friend of the show, Brad Williams, Hassan Minhaj, celebrity basketball game story.
Hassan Minhaj is on my team, great comic, a friend, and Ray Allen is also on our team. Mm-hmm. I had an assist to Ray Allen. It's one of the highlights of my life. So we're down in the game. Our team is down in the game, and then we start a ferocious comeback. Comedian Adam Ray had some points, and then we're coming back. Hassan steals the ball. Oh my God. We need a 3 to tie. And we need this 3. He steals the ball. He's coming down. He has Ray Allen on the wing.
Don't say it.
On the wing. Not just any three-point shooter. Statistically, at the time, the greatest three-point shooter in the history of the NBA.
Uh-huh.
That's who he has on the wing.
Brad, don't say it.
Hassan, I was on The Daily Show. I did some one-man shows on Netflix. I got this shit. Hassan pulls up. He shoots the 3. What do you think happens? He misses the 3. Other team rebounds, and we lose the game. Hassan.
He looked off Ray Allen.
You looked off Jesus Shuttlesworth.
Tony Baselli, Tom Coughlin's story.
Playing for him, you learn to be on time. I mean, I got fined once because I was only 3 minutes early for the meeting. I wasn't 5 minutes early. I'm like, wait, the meeting isn't supposed to start. And he didn't care. I mean, you were getting fined. He is a stickler.
Jason McCourty's hilarious story about the day his brother Devin was drafted by the Patriots.
So as the draft creeps closer and closer to the end of the draft, trades start happening. He goes to the bathroom, and then boom, his phone rings. So I'm the closest one to him. I picked the phone up. Hey, how you doing, Devin? This is Mr. Kraft on the phone. So there's no time to sit there and say, well, hey, this isn't Dev, this is my brother. So I'm like, hey, Mr. Kraft, how you doing? Hey, we're going to take you to this next. Like, oh, I'm fired up. Can't wait to get to New England, blah, blah, blah. He goes, all right, I'm going to get ready. I'm going to hand the phone over to Coach Belichick. That's when I ran to the bathroom, slid the phone under the door. I had just spent the year in Tennessee, and all the Belichick rumors. I'm just like, I don't want to talk to this guy on the phone. He's mean, whatever. So I slide the phone to Dev. So to this day, I don't know if Robert Kraft knows that he actually drafted me in the first round, and my name wasn't on the check. So I guess it didn't really matter.
Joe Buck, San Francisco Giants story.
San Francisco, I remember I was packing up my backpack after a World Series game at whatever it's called. Then it was, I think, AT&T Park. And this father and son were down there, and they're, Mr. Buck. And I'm packing my stuff up, and eventually I look over and I wave to him, and this little kid and his father both gave me the finger, which was, I'm sure, a moment that they talk about still to this day. I wanted to take the kid immediately away from his father and just say, you need to do better, sir. But
at least it's not sitting with you, though, Joe.
No, yeah,
Right.
no, that's true.
Right.
And hey, whatever. As long as people know I'm there, I guess that's a mild win.
Amin El Hassan, Rasheed Wallace story.
So we're playing the Pistons, and Rasheed Wallace is in prime form, MFing every ref on every call, and not just, hey, where's the effing call? It's like, you blind, stupid mother effer, what are you looking at? Glenn's Craft is closed 2 hours ago. You could have gotten that, like, just going off, and we're just playing. Amari Stoudemire goes up, gets fouled, no call, misses the layup. Action's going the other way, goes F, and the ref goes tee up. What? He said, showing up the ref disrespectful language. And we're like, dude, have you listened to Rasheed Wallace all game long? Has been running commentary, not just cussing, running commentary. And I shit you not, the ref says, yeah, but that's just how she talks.
David Sampson, story of breaking Muhammad Ali's death.
I got a call saying that Muhammad Ali was dead from a friend of mine, and I assumed that the family had announced that he was dead. So I called the people who do the Jumbotron, and I said, let's do an ode to Muhammad Ali at the end of the game. They said, why? I said, he's dead. So we did a rest in peace with a picture of Muhammad Ali. And all of a sudden, PJ Loyello comes down to see me and says, David, he's not dead. We have to go to Louisville and kill him because the whole world thinks he's dead now. And then the side note to that story is I had to pay out of my own pocket $9,000 because in a rush to get it on the Jumbotron, we used an image of Muhammad Ali without permission of Getty.
Wow.
It became worldwide news, and they sent us a bill for $9,000. I go and I try to expense it with our CFO. He denies it. I go to Jeffrey to say, I am not paying this $9,000. He said, you announced Ali's death. $9,000. I had to pay it.
Amin El Hassan almost got in Las Vegas.
Grabbing a quick drink at Aria, get a text from my buddy Vinny Goodwill, and Vinny says, hey man, where you at? We're at Cosmo. I said, I'll be right there. So as I'm turning to leave, bump into a young lady.
Okay.
She makes a funny joke or whatever, and I say, ha, and I make a joke too, and exchange names, and next thing I know, there's a second one there, and then there's a third one there, and everyone's hanging off every word I'm saying. I'm like, Little my spidey sense is tingling.
Your third eye started to open up.
My third eye opened up, and I saw what was happening. I saw the okie doke that was happening, and the giveaway was when I made a joke, and I got the laugh and pat, and the pat started at my shoulder and ended somewhere south of my pectoral, and I said, I need to go. You can't orchestrate a trap on me. I'm Steph Curry. I'll pass out and then I'll run to the corner.
So you're safe. Like they almost got you.
They were talking about we got a limo, and I'm like, oh, that's nice. Like, where are we going? I'm like, I don't know where we're going. Oh, I got to go to the bathroom. And get the hell out of there. I'm telling you, man, Vegas is a dangerous place.
Amin El Hassan arguing with a cab driver story.
I was in New York. A cab driver tried to not pick me up. I literally stepped out in traffic so he couldn't go by. He told me, oh, I got a curb app appointment. That's one of those, it's like
Uber for taxis.
Uber for taxis. And I said, show me the appointment on your phone and I'll get out of the way. He said, "Oh, I can't because it's mountain." And I said, "My cousin's recording. He's coming to the side of the car. Show him, and I'll get out of the way." He couldn't show it. So then we had like this standoff where he would like Tiananmen Square style. Like I'm just like this, and he'll like try to move, and I'm like move to the left, move to the right in front of him. Stood there for like 10 minutes having an argument with this dude.
I
Because
hate New York.
I said, one of three things is going to happen. Number one, you have a curb app appointment. You show me that appointment, I'll get out of the way. Number two, you let me in this car and you'll give me a ride. Number three, you say, I don't pick up black people, and then I'll get out of the way.
This is escalated.
It definitely escalated.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when you were playing a game of chicken in the middle of the street with a taxi cab, we were already there.
So I end up getting in the cab, right? On the way, I'm just giving it to this guy. It's like this. It's it's illegal for you to do this.
You're actively fighting with a cab
Not
driver.
fighting. He's taking it because he's giving me lame excuses. Like, well, I had one, but then I canceled it for you. I'm like, you never mentioned that until we're in the car that you canceled the curb app appointment. I don't believe you, sir. I think you're full of shit. And I kept going and going.
People are tough with the petition.
At the end, tipped him 20%. And I told him I'm tipping. You know why? Because you think black people are cheap or whatever. I'm here to tell you, boom. Because I'm a nice guy, I'm a good guy, I'm tipping you. I'm also reporting your ass. Got out, was on the phone with 311 for an hour. An hour.
Was it worth it, or did you feel a little ridiculous after the hour?
The rare tip with a negative report.
Oh, yeah.
That man's life.
Did you say I'm television's Amin Hassan?
Absolutely. After in the car, I was like...
You wait till I say your name on the jump.
Oh,
that's what you were saying?
No, I said I'm on the #1 podcast.
That's what you said?
Yeah.
No, you didn't.
I sure did. I dropped
on
it.
podcast is Amin Hassan.
Yeah, I dealt LeBatard Show. I said, you may not have heard of it, but trust me, millions have.
Wait till steak sauce is in your Menchie's.
Oh, my God.
Dan Le Batard, story of being scared in his own house.
I have vigorously and low to the ground sort of sumo squats, made a lot of noise, sort of rushing forward to because I was scared,
I'd pay money
not
to see
knowing,
this.
not knowing if someone was there, trying to make myself sound, like I guess a stampede of buffalo coming toward the intruder, so he would be more scared by what was coming down the hallway than I was.
You're walking on all fours to give the illusion that
it wasn't crab walking. It was like it was low to the ground, squatted down like a catcher, No, but it was pretty low.
Catcher?
But stomping on the ground in front of me, making a lot of noise.
Like a defensive stop?
You just
came
don't
in to
know where
stop
it was
three?
still in the dark. There were no lights
Is it
on.
like pitter-patter steps? What are you doing?
It's sort of a growling, grunting. I was a little scared, and I'm just sort of, trying to go towards somebody. Not crab walking with my arms behind me, but my arms in front of me also banging on the ground, like in a defensive posture.
The least intimidating thing I've ever heard.
What was it? Tell me it was a
He's closing out on a 3 is what he's doing.
He's slapping the floor like he's playing for Duke.
Don't you have a private elevator? Like, did you think someone parachuted in? How did they get there?
I don't know. I was confused.
Hockey player Scotty Upshaw tells us about his most intense hockey injuries.
I played roughly 14 playoff games with a shattered thumb that just was like popped out of its socket. I had it just wrapped in, it was in a cast the whole time. The worst one, though, was probably in South Florida. I popped my ab bone off right above the cock,
Jesus.
right off the bone. And it was, I could not get a hard on for 3 months, boys. It was nuts.
Wait,
what? And that's me talking. Trust me.
Wow.
Not perfect.
And he was taking 4 Cialis a day, and he still couldn't get one.
No, it wasn't
having lunch at Mom's Venus.
It wasn't for the lack of blood flow. It just hurt too much.
Yeah, well, wait till you turn 50. I mean,
Michelle Beadle had an embarrassing accident in her car.
Accidents happen. Why do we judge it so harshly? I tried to get to the house. I was trying to do the right thing.
You did your best.
Were you running red lights?
You said you were like in a Marshall's or something? Where were you?
I was at Marshall's when I knew something bad was about to happen.
They don't have a bathroom?
I didn't want to do that there. I don't like doing that.
Your car's much better.
Todd McShay's story of his family getting legitimately mad at him for thinking Tim Tebow was going to be a bust.
Tebow had no chance, in my opinion. That's what I got in a lot of trouble that year because everyone loved Tebow and obviously the religious component to it. And even my mom was mad at me. Like, I raised you better. I raised you better than this. And she wouldn't even talk to me very much at Thanksgiving that year. Seriously. She was like mad. Her and my sister were legitimately mad at me because I was saying that he might not be a great NFL quarterback. I'm like, this is what I do. This is my job.
Better than this.
And I'll never forget, Tim Tebow's mom came up to me after pro day down in Gainesville and was like, I just want to let you know that I want to thank you and let you know that we're praying for you. And I'm thanking you because you've given I swear, you've given my son so much motivation.
Oh my God.
Unbelievable.
McShay, you were the chip on Tim Tebow's shoulder.
Yeah, I was. I'm the reason he won that playoff game that year, I guess.
When Tebow throws that big touchdown in the playoffs to win the Broncos a game to Demaryius Thomas overtime, is mom calling you and said, I told you, son?
Yeah, she actually did. She actually did. I'm not joking. My mom's a lunatic football fan. So
oh my God.
She was that's exactly what happened, Stugotz. I swear. I didn't know where you're going with that. She called me after the game. It was like, I told you.
Amin El-Hassan sharted his pants at a wedding.
I'm out on the dance floor and I'm like,
oh no.
Yeah, I'll let one rip real quick and then dance over there. And this was in Florida in June.
Oh no. My God. What color were your pants?
Light gray.
Yeah, that's bad. Okay.
Not anymore.
So I let it loose and I'm like, oh, that didn't feel right. But the crazy about a shard is like, maybe it's just my mind playing tricks on.
Yeah, you just don't know.
So I quickly go to the bathroom, and the bathroom that I went to, I'll never forget this. It had a problem with the lock. The door either wouldn't lock, or if it locked, it wouldn't unlock. So I locked it, and then I dropped my pants, and I realized, yep, there it is. Okay, I need to do something. And then someone knocked on the door. I'm like, I'm in here. And then I'm like, okay, how do I had 1 foot on the door, 1 foot out. So I grabbed some paper towels and I put it under my carriage, right? And then opened the door, and then it was locked. I was like, oh, come on. And finally unlocked it. Then I left. I said, there's another bathroom upstairs. Go upstairs. The other bathroom was in the bridal suite. But they're all outside. No. Everyone's outside. So I'm like, okay, I'll go in this bathroom. Go in the bathroom, lock the door, take off the underwear, but this is the bridal suite. If I throw it away here, they're going to find shitty drawers, right? Can't do that. So I come up with the idea, this is what I'll do. I'll wash them in the sink.
What?
I get just some hand soaps. I wash them. I wring them dry. Okay, so the damp, it'll be a little uncomfortable, but what's the worst that can happen? Put them on, put my pants on, go back outside. I asked my boy, I said, look, you're the only person I'm going to tell this. My pants right now, does it look like they're wet? And he's like, yeah, it looks like you sat in a puddle. I'm like, shit. Now, the pants were not affected by the original, but the dampness from the underwear has now created an impression.
Clearly.
So now I have to literally dance my way out of sight by crouching really low. And everyone's like, oh, it's such a great dance. I'm like, ha ha. Until I get indoors, because outside it's just like a fog. There's just nothing but steam. It's Florida in June.
Oh.
Inside, there's some air conditioning vents on the floor that are shooting air up. So I decided to stand over the vent.
Smart.
To try and dry it up.
Real Marilyn Monroe moment.
Smart.
Meanwhile, people are starting to complain it's too hot outside. So now people are coming in and they're asking me to move off the vent, stop hogging the vent.
You're also putting your shit ass right over the air source.
Yeah.
It's no longer a shit ass. I've cleaned it thoroughly.
Well,
it's still there.
No, it's not. I use soap.
You used hand soap. Hand soap. That's not clean shit. So maybe it's now shit and lavender.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it was.
I'll have you know that hand soap is what they told us to use to fight COVID. So if it's good enough for COVID, it's good enough for the shit in my pants.
Okay, that's a good comeback. I don't hate it.
And then, after a while it dried up and the rest of the night was magical. That's the first time I've told that story in public.